For those who see belly dance as intrinsically feminine, it's not surprising to find for them a link between belly dance and pregnancy. Many find or consider belly dance to be the ultimate antenatal class. But is this something we should seriously consider? Is belly dance and pregnancy a mix that we should encourage or try? Hi, I'm Kashmir, and it's only happened a couple of times. You pick up the phone, hello, and it's somebody, a beginner who wants to start classes. Fantastic, and you're talking away to them and you discover that they're pregnant. Let's just take this easy here. You then discover that not only are they pregnant, but they actually haven't done any physical exercise for many years. In fact, they describe themselves as very unfit. But they're sure that joining a belly dance class will be the ultimate to get them ready for their pregnancy. As a general rule, I discourage these people. Why? Well, because I teach dance. And in dance, we're concentrating on learning to dance. Now, as a side effect of this, yes, you will tone if you do the movements correctly, but it's not fast. And in most cases, it won't happen in a couple of months before you're going to give birth. So as a rule, no. But what about if you've already been dancing? Should you continue? The first thing I'd always say is, what does your lead carer say? What does your midwife, what does your doctor say about this? And if they have a good reason that you shouldn't be belly dancing, then please listen to them. But I've known several belly dancers who've continued dancing well into their pregnancy, and in one case into the last month of her pregnancy. So it can be done. There are plenty of studies which have shown that in a normal healthy pregnancy, and that's important rider, that moderately intensive aerobic exercise has no negative effects on the development of the fetus and no negative effects on the pregnancy itself. And in actual fact, there are several benefits to exercising. So this is for exercise rather than belly dance itself, but it applies. But there are some things to actually watch out for. Now, the first one is that you don't want to overheat your body. So getting your body temperature too hot is something you want to avoid if you're pregnant. Now, it's not a big deal here in New Zealand. It tends to be quite cold. But as a rule of thumb, what they suggest is no more than 15 to 20 minutes of strong aerobic exercise, and no more than 3 or 4 times a week. So you can do it in short bursts, but don't make a habit of it, and don't do it for a long time. The next thing is to watch jarring and jumping, and you think, oh, well, we don't jar and jump a lot. And for most dancers, for a lot of dancers, no, we don't. But there are times you do. There is some of the modern technique which actually includes little jumps, and of course there's folk. One member of my troupe decided that she would continue performing only folk because she wished to remain covered. And she did actually say that the Saidi jumps did unpleasant things to her bladder. So her and her bucket were forever. Never mind, we won't go there. So generally speaking, doctors would suggest that you avoid jumping, and also anything that can result in a fall, and of course horse riding. I don't know why I put that in there, but it's on the list. No jumps, no falls, no horse riding. But that does bring up something else, and that is the issue of costuming. Now, my troupe mate was not entirely correct. First of all, she could have actually performed with her belly exposed if she wished, but she didn't feel comfortable about it. And the other side of it is possibly the audience won't feel comfortable about it. If it's a one-off gig for a community event, you might get a few If you're a professional dancer, be aware that that could actually end up losing you your gig. This is show business. You can complain as much as you like, but in the end, your employer knows what sort of image he or she wishes to project. So that's one issue. But if you want to be covered, folk styles are an obvious one, but not the only, because you can actually also do Oriental in a dress. In fact, I love dancing in a dress. If I do solo work, it's nearly always fully covered in a dress. So that's another possibility. However, you also need to consider whether or not your costumes will fit you as you start going through pregnancy. I found an article by Jamila on the net which looks at how you can, there we are, down there, how you can adapt your costumes to your increasing breast size, which I thought was quite interesting. But the major issue is that when you get pregnant, your ligaments become more elastic. You have more flexibility. This is because your body is preparing to open. The problem is you've got more flexibility, but you don't have more strength or control. So one thing you need to be very careful of when you're pregnant is that you don't overstretch your joints. In everyday life, that might not be too hard. When you're dancing, you've got to be extra careful. And especially if you suddenly think, wow, I could never do that before, I'm going to do the splits in the middle of my routine. Not a good idea. So be very careful with your flexibility, that you keep it within your controllable range. Which leads me to posture. Here is one time when your neutral posture is so very, very important. Make sure you keep yourself aligned, make sure you engage those abs. Good time to make sure you're not dropping your pelvis. You've got enough problem as it is with the weight at the front, so just make sure that you're not actually further doing it. And avoid things like back bends and crunches, anything that will actually tighten up that abdominal area. It is possible to actually damage your abs. It's not common, but you don't want to do it, and you don't want to squash the poor little baby. You don't want to get squashed up, especially if you're later in your pregnancy. So there's a few things there, and the most important one is if there's any pain, stop immediately. Please stop. So with all that big list of things not to do and things to watch, why go ahead with it? Well, because you're a dancer for a start. Laurel put it really well. Laurel's a physio and dancer from Brisbane, and she listed a number of issues. It keeps up your fitness, okay? This is not a time to lose your fitness. It helps increase your ab strength and control. Again, good time to keep that up. Sometimes some moves for some women will relieve pain. Now, having been in a group of women discussing this, it varies a lot. It depends on the woman, it depends on how the baby's sitting, it depends on the body, it depends on the time, part of the cycle of your pregnancy. And you'll hear one woman say, oh, when this happened, I used to shimmy and it used to make me feel really good. And another woman says, oh God, no, I couldn't do any shimmies once I got pregnant, but I'd do figure eights and that would relieve the pain. So the movement of the body can actually help. It also reduces incontinence. Now this isn't just for belly dancers, there's also been studies done showing this is really helpful in rest homes as well. But yes, so providing of course you are doing your technique correctly and not just using your legs, actually are using a bit of ab, then you can actually help with the incontinence problems. It keeps up your social contact. That is really important. So do keep that up. And it also, for some women, as I said at the beginning, they link pregnancy, dance and their spirituality together. And if that is important to you, then keep dancing. Assuming, of course, always assuming that your lead carer is quite happy with you doing the exercise. So, no reason to stop. Keep it up. After all, what is life without dance?